Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Carrie Hardisky. I am a fantasy author, working mom, and domestic hot mess. And welcome to the first video ever filmed at my new desk setup. I recently got a new desk and changed up my office. And so I also recently discovered that I can do some recording through StreamYard. So maybe more videos will be on the way soon. But today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite things in the world, and that is attending Renaissance festivals. And this has been so much fun. It's springtime, and fairs are ramping up all over the country. There are two in Ohio. There's the Great Lakes Medieval Fair, which is near beautiful Geneva on the eastern coast of Lake Erie. And that runs through July and August. And then about Labor Day through Halloween-ish, um, nearer to Dayton in Southwest Ohio, uh, is the Ohio Renaissance Fair. So these tips are going to be based on my experience attending both of these. And I will probably do an updated one next year because this year I am bringing my kiddo. And so next year will include more lessons regarding bringing small. So, what have I learned as we enter the fourth year attending these festivals? Well, tip number one is you don't have to spend big money on a costume to attend a fair. In fact, you don't need a costume at all if you don't want to. If you just want to roll up in a t shirt and jeans or shorts or whatever makes you feel comfortable. I have a t-shirt that says feedeth me a turkey leg and telleth me I'm pretty, and it's written in like a medievally script. Um that is quite all right as long as you are comfortable and having fun. That is all that matters. Uh you can find stuff at thrift stores. There are tons of videos about thrifting costume pieces. If you just do a search on YouTube, you will find something. I happen to be very fortunate in being able to get the holy clothing dresses that I have. I currently have 4 now, but I saved for them and I have been building up on accessories and garb. Um, I have my additions to this year is this gray corset belt that I also got from Holy Clothing. It looks really pretty with my green gown. Um, and the size I got, it's very snug. So uh so there's that. And then I also got a potion bottle, no, 2 potion bottles from my friend Laura. This is the bigger one that I'm going to loop onto my belt. And if you want me to do a uh put together video with all of my costume pieces for the year, I will absolutely do that. Um, and then there's one bit of jewelry that I am waiting on that I ordered off of Etsy. Um, I ordered a Anne Boleyn pearl necklace um, that I found a creator on Etsy who makes them in varying sizes because I know in the portraits it's traditionally pictured as like a shorter necklace, but I don't like short necklaces because I'm fat. So I found one that came in a longer style, and I'm waiting for it to arrive in a couple of weeks, and I am so excited to add that to my level up for the year. And the leveling up definitely works if you are going repeatedly and you want to build up a little bit more. Uh, But if this is a one and done to say you did it, you can thrift something or just wear modern day clothing. It is totally fine. Tip number 2 is keep an eye on the weather forecast and get a general idea of what the weather is like for the area you're traveling to during the time of year that the festival is taking place. This can help you with what to bring with you and how to construct your costume should you choose to wear one. Um, a lot of people like to go authentic time period, but those fabrics and layers could get really hot if you're going in, say, July. So, just coming from a person who is heat and sun sensitive, uh, I would prefer to be as comfortable as possible. This is one of the reasons we have not returned to the Great Lakes Fair because it is in the height of summer, and I would just rather not end up at the first aid tent being treated for heat exhaustion. But if you feel that you can walk around in full armor or all of those layers that like a Tudor woman um, can wear, more power to you. And I'm sure you look great. So getting comfortable material uh, if you're going in the summer, light, flowy, natural fabric, something that won't hold in moisture and weigh you down if it rains or if you're sweating a lot. And the weather forecast can change right up until you pull up to the gates. So at least have an umbrella handy in your car or in your backpack. And if you are sensitive to the sun and the heat like me, consider a parasol or some kind of umbrella. I bought a parasol at Oren last year. That is, I think, in my car. Um, but it was a great investment, and I felt super fancy walking around. Tip number 3. Um, this is a list of items that I would recommend being must-haves in your bag when you go to the fair or collection of bags. The first thing that I highly recommend is a mini first aid kit. You can get one of these for a couple of bucks at Target. Um, just comes with a little bit like a cleansing wipey and some bandages and some gauze because bumps and bruises and blisters happen. And especially if you're bringing kids along, you could stick that little box in your bag and have something on hand if somebody falls and scrapes their knee or whatever, or if the shoes you're wearing gives you a blister. A hand fan when you're walking around and getting sweaty and you want to feel super fancy cooling off. I have built up quite a collection of these even before I started attending Ren Fairs, just because I think they're a lot of fun. I have one like this that has blue sequins on it. Um, I still have my blue fan from my wedding, and you can find these all over the place, antique stores, Etsy, at the festival, at the vending shops, flea markets. Dollar Tree even has folding fans if you want to get something like super cheapy. Um, the next recommendation for keeping in on you is a sewing kit. A little sewing kit for rips and snags. Uh, you're pushing through a crowd and you catch something and part of your costume rips and you can patch it up real quick. Um, I've had one since my wedding and I've barely had to use it unfortunately, except for currently all of the safety pins are being used on one of my daughter's dresses. The next thing that I recommend having in your bag is electrolyte powder. Um, I saw this recommended in another video. This is liquid IV. Uh, and it's electrolyte powder. It's just a little packet that you put in a bottle of water, little packet of powder. They come like this. They come in different flavors. They come in sugar free if you don't want to have the sugar. Um, Gatorade works in a pinch, and I think they also make powder, but some people can't have the sugar or the dyes in those drinks. The first year I bought electrolyte powder, I bought the Pedialyte Sport, and it's kind of expensive and a lot harder to find. So going with something like this is a lot easier. Um, I found these at Target. I also got a grape flavor that I want to try, but I wanted to try this particular one today because it has caffeine added to it. Um, the next thing I recommend having on you is sandy wipes, baby wipes, water wipes, any of that kind of thing. Uh, because you will probably not encounter a flush toilet with a sink of hot running water. They will most likely have porta privies, and when hundreds, sometimes thousands of people go through those things every day, it can get a little nasty. So, having those wipes to kind of clean yourself up a little bit, clean up your kids, because maybe your kid will randomly decide they want to play in the mud, and then you got to clean them off. Uh, so yeah, those messes happen, and so wipes are a must. Sunscreen is the next thing that I definitely recommend. As even on cloudy days, you can get sunburned. I've had some of my worst sunburns on a cloudy day, especially if you are near the water, depending on where you go. It is possible. I have witnessed people getting second-degree sunburns, and they are awful, and they are painful, and they're just, huh. So, sunscreen and aloe gel, if you do end up getting burnt and you need to rehydrate your skin, I bought this that I will probably replenish over the course of the summer with my bigger bottle. I just bought the travel size because I could just stick it in my bag and go. Um, and don't forget to reapply throughout the day. Um, the next thing that I would maybe recommend keeping with you is pain meds. I have chronic pain, so I definitely keep a bottle of Aleve on hand at all times. And sometimes I will like take one on the way to the fair for a little bit of preemptive pain management. And then I will take one as we're leaving. But check with your doctor to see how to best manage pain and soreness. Uh, I am not a health professional. I am a rando on the internet. And then the last thing I recommend keeping in your bag is a portable charger for your phone. The first 2 years we went to Ren Faire, I definitely needed this. My phone at the time was crap, and I was taking a lot of video and photos trying to document the whole experience. So a battery pack is very handy, and they can be very small. So you just bloop, drop it in your bag and you're set. You can charge it in your hotel the night before. And so, yeah, they usually plug in with like a USB or something like that. Tip number 5, cash is king. While a card is acceptable at many vendors, the mobile apps for those card readers have processing fees that will sometimes get added to the cost of your item if it doesn't, so it doesn't cut into the profits of the artists. And they will, I think it's just common courtesy that they will notify you in advance if that is the case. And a lot of fairs are in the middle of nowhere, so sometimes the reception uh, is really poor for those card readers to process payment anyway. Um, a lot of food stalls prefer cash because it's just faster, and they will also add fees. Um, you also need cash to tip the performers that are there. So hit the bank either the night before or that morning of, because the ATMs at the fair will have really long lines. They will be slow as heck, and their fees will probably be ridiculous. We learned that when we went to Geneva. Um, Tip number 6, aesthetics be damned when it comes to footwear. Now, everyone is different, and if you can walk around in flats and feel every stone underneath your feet, fine. If you want to walk around in 6-inch heels, fine, more power to you on both. But coming from someone with chronic pain, I will find and wear comfortable shoes so I am not in agony when I get back to the hotel at the end of the day. Sneakers with a good thick sole so you don't feel every pebble underneath your feet are incredibly helpful. I recently bought myself a new pair because the last time I bought tennis shoes was before my wedding 7 years ago. And I wore them on my honeymoon and they lasted me um, all of this time. So I am on the hunt for some good boots so I have a little bit more ankle support on the uneven terrain, but I also have big feet. Uh, so that has been a struggle. Um, but nobody is going to be nitpicking what you have on your feet. And if they do, they're dicks and can go jump in a lake. Tip number 7, hydrate, don't dehydrate. If the fair allows you to bring in outside food and water, bring plenty of water. I recommend a giant water bottle that you can refill throughout the day if there are water fountains available. Um, I have a big one that I got when Bye Bye Baby was going out of business near me, and I got a big 64-ounce jug that will last me all day. Check the website of the fair you're attending, and they should have their food and drink policy spelled out for you on there. If your fair does not allow um, outside items, um, see again the electrolyte powder and um, that you could add to bottled water that you buy at the park. Speaking of, I'm going to take a sip now because I haven't had water yet. Ooh, I put one of those liquid IVs in there. It's definitely pineapple. Woo! um, but yeah, I cannot sing the praises of electrolyte powder enough because you are going to get sweaty walking around all day, and sometimes water isn't enough to um, replenish everything that you lose when you sweat. Some places have drinking fountains, so if you want to bring a plastic water bottle and refill it throughout the day. I know at OREN you can go to the special events tent and tell them that you are a designated driver, and they will give you a wristband so you can get free water. Because $3 here and there throughout the day over the course of 2 days can add up. So whatever saves you on that. Another thing that's been recommended that I have seen in other videos talking about tips and tricks for the Ren Faire is not gulping down ice water, like super cold water if you're really hot, um, because that can make you sick to your stomach because the human body does not like extremes. But if that's all you have, then take it slow when you're drinking the water. Stop, watch a show, take a breath, sip your water. After a half hour or so, your mileage may vary depending on how much rest you really need. You replenish and you can keep going for a little bit longer. Tip number 8, pick and choose what you want to see before you go. At OREN, they have maps that they pass out when you enter. The maps and schedules are usually on their websites. I know OREN also has an app. Um, and unless you are able to get a season pass and you can go multiple times a year, then you probably won't see everything in a single day or a single weekend even. Um, I would love to be able to get a season pass for the fairs in my state, but with my work schedule, that's not feasible. Also, OREN, which is the one I prefer, is about 3 hours away from me. So I don't have the money to get a hotel every weekend. Um, so check out the events. Some of the things that we like to go see is the Washington Ball Wenches. They are a comedy show. They're a bit more crass, a little more adult humor. So maybe don't bring the little kids. Um, a lot of places will have a joust or some kind of event like that. Um, at OREN and Great Lakes, they have a knighting ceremony. Uh, Great Lakes has is more towards the kids. OREN is for everyone. And the first year that we did it, my inner child was so happy, and I can't wait to take my little one to do it this year. Games are also fun. Um, they a lot of places will have a special section where you can do axe throwing and archery. I think OREN also has a dunk tank, and I believe they call it Drench a Wench. So that's fun. Tip number 10, don't be afraid to ask people to take pictures. If you see a really cool costume, ask if you could snap a photo with them. And 99% of the time, they are happy to do so, especially cast members and performers. I've gotten pictures with Sprout, the Fae of Seeds, um, and at OREN, you get to see Queen Elizabeth I and her court, which is a lot of fun. One of the reasons that I'm really excited to get um, the bee necklace because if I cross paths with the queen, um, that can make for some interesting character interaction, I think. And last year we met the Doctor and Gandalf, and we'll probably see lots of doctors this year because we're going for time travel weekend. Um, but I know it can be hard, especially if you are an introvert, but the interactions can be so much fun, especially if you are in character. Um, when we saw the doctor last year, my niece and I ran up to him and she had to ask, "What in the name of sanity do you have on your head?" And of course, he responded with, "The feds. Feds are cool." And cue the teenage fangirling. Tip number 11, check out the social media and website for the fair you are attending. There's the map and schedule, like I mentioned. There are policies on food, um, props, especially weapons, and any other rules like if parking or free or has a cost. A lot of fairs usually have coordinating or associated Facebook groups that you can join and and share your experience with other fans. Some people in the fan groups can recommend tips for improving your costumes or just general information about when is the best weekend to go. So, for example, Oren has certain weekends when it is insanely busy and they tend to have the worst weather. So, my friends and I have we've tried to plan to avoid those weekends as much as possible. Um, like, um, basically because we don't want to make a 3-hour trip all the way down there and kind of have it be a miserable experience. Tip number 12, and this should go without saying, but I've worked in retail and food service and I know how people are, but be nice to the workers. You go to the Ren Fair to have fun and enjoy a little bit of escapism. Yes, it's hot. Yes, it's crowded. Yes, by the end of the day, you're tired and you just want to collapse. But that is no reason to be a dick to someone who is working food service or who is at one of the vendor shops just trying to make a living and trying to enjoy the job that they do as well. Just be a good human. Tip number 13, don't forget to eat. You're walking around all day, your body needs fuel. If the fair doesn't allow you outside food, um, keep some snacks in your car. Um, and if you are allowed to get like a little stamp on your hand, come in and out, um, then you can run to your car, have a couple crackers, and come back in. Um, Maybe even just like stick a couple packs of crackers in your bags, you know, those sandwich crackers with the cheese or the peanut butter. Stick a couple of those in like your kid's bag. Most places aren't super strict and will understand the needing of sustenance in a pinch. Um, and because that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna probably stick a couple of those sandwich crackers in like my daughter's backpack or something. Um, until we can actually like sit down and have food. Tip number 14, collect business info. As much as we would want to buy all of the pretty things, not all of us are made of money. So if you see a shop that interests you and maybe you want to look at a custom order or if they don't have your size in stock or you don't quite have enough on you but you still want to support them, get their business card, scan their QR codes. A lot of places will have websites that you can order from or Etsy shops that you can order from later. Um, Tip number 15, figure out where you're going to stay. We were fortunate when we went to Great Lakes. It's only about 45 minutes from my house. So my best friend and her oldest daughter came and we had a sleepover weekend and then we drove up to the fair. When we go to Oren, like I said, that's a 3-hour drive. So there's no way were we going to make that drive, walk around all day, and then drive back. So we would get a hotel. I learned that lesson of doing a day trip of to a place multiple hours away. The first time my husband and I went to a Comic-Con convention, uh, yeah, if you can make it a long weekend. If you're going with a group, maybe you could split a rental place. Some people find campgrounds, um, which I think would be a lot of fun, but my physical limitations do not allow sleeping on the ground. So we usually look for a hotel, especially if it has a pool, bonus points if it has a hot tub. Um, so then you have a place to go to ease the joint pain and soreness at the end of the day. I'll if I wake up on time, I will, and I'm staying at a hotel with a pool and a hot tub. This is the trick my dad taught me. Um, Go in the pool or go in the hot tub, get all toasty and relaxed, and then jump in the pool. And there's something that happens to your system. That shock of the temperature difference does something that helps with the joint pain, at least for a little while. Um, so yeah. That is a pretty extensive list, and this video has been going on for a while. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this list was helpful. Share some of your Ren Fair experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear, um, as we're hoping to attend some out-of-state ones in the future. I just discovered that there's one in Michigan, also 3 hours away from me, but going north instead of south, that we might try to attend next year. I'm so excited to bring my kiddo this year. I'm gonna take so many pictures. Um, that my bullet journal will be absolutely bursting by the time this trip is over. And it'll be a great way to finish off that notebook. So that's all from me. My link tree is in the description below with all of my social medias where you can get my books. Um, you can support me if you so choose on Ream or Coffee or my Substack newsletter, which comes out every Wednesday. And keep an eye out now for maybe some more videos. Um, Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you for watching. Bye!